And we welcome to another edition of Field Hockey with Hatfield. This is episode, let's see if I can count, 1, 2, 3, I think this is episode 5. That's what it just said on the little cover. I am Matt Hatfield. Glad you are tuned into this edition of the podcast as we take you around the high school field hockey scene in Virginia, especially here in the 757 area code and Hampton Roads. And as always, this is brought to you by our good friends and the folks, the wonderful folks with Hometown Sports Productions, as you see on the screen there. Field Hockey with Hatfield. It goes right there above the light. We got a piano now in the background, fireplace. This is pretty cool. We'll try this out today. See if we got a different background for next week, perhaps. As always, you can connect with us on the show. We have different ways that you can reach out, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Virginia Beach Sports PLEX. And you can follow me on X, once known as Twitter, at Hatfield Sports, 757 Sports Talk. Another way to connect with us. And drop us an email if you have any suggestions for our Chicken Parm Field Hockey Player of the Week, which is brought to you each and every week by Il Giardino Restaurante. We'll tell you who that is coming up in just a little bit here on the show. We've got a couple of special guests, as you saw at the beginning, highlighted in our little cover page there with the likes of Mary Werkheiser, head coach at Norfolk Academy, as well as one of the standout players in the Beach District from Princess Anne High School. We spoke with one. We've actually spoken to, I think, just all Beach District players thus far. We'll get that situated if any others will jump out and be standouts in the coming weeks. I'm sure there will be. But we caught up with Sydney Raguini of Princess Anne High School, who is a JMU commit, to talk about her exploits on the turf out there. In fact, had a great game last week, the game winner for the Cavaliers and Coach Don Warner. Good to know it wasn't a jinx because both of the guests last week, their teams won. I tell you, folks, I'm not the jinx guy. It's Ed Young when he comes up with me with our 757 Saturday Sports Talk podcast. Coaches generally don't tend to get the victories after they talk to him on the show. So we'll be talking with Sydney Raguini of Princess Anne and Mary Werkheiser in just a bit. There are some games coming out to the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach on this glorious Tuesday. There's also some games coming up with the Ring of Honor this weekend. Bunch of teams in action. You got Washington Liberty and Kempsville coming up at 2 o'clock on Saturday. I think one of the first games I know was in the morning, 10:30 a.m. Kellam and Norfolk Academy on Saturday. You have other games throughout the day. So going out there this coming Saturday to the PLEX, where we'll be doing our 757 Saturday Sports Talk show with Coach Young and me, giving you everything in the world of sports. If you want to come out and say hello to us, you can do that as well. But a lot of action happening at the PLEX and the Regional Training Center Tuesday and Thursday this week. You got games today, of course, and then you also have some games coming up on Thursday. So a lot happening around the field hockey scene. No real shockers. I think the big game that people certainly were keyed in on last week was over at Norfolk Academy on a Wednesday. A little bit of I wouldn't say a brisk necessarily day, but it was a different type of day weather-wise over there. I saw some light jackets break out, although we've got 70-degree weather this week, which we're not complaining about here in the month of October because it'll take that quick decline into the chills of the winter before you know it. It goes straight from summer to winter. We skip fall, it feels like, from time to time around here. But we caught up with the head coach of the Bulldogs of Norfolk Academy. She's a legend in the sport and now has a program that's ranked number 1 in America by Max Preps. I see today. I think the Max Field Hockey rankings will be coming out later today as we speak to you live and record this episode. So it'll be interesting to see where they are in that. I think they were 6th in the last rankings edition. The team they beat last Wednesday, 24 times state champions over at Cox High School in Virginia Beach, who have won a slew of state titles. They have the record. They have numerous records in the record book, and Ted Roundtree has an outstanding program. And it was really a good game between those two powerhouse programs. Who's the best in the 757? You got a private school power. You have a public school traditional contender. Well, bragging rights were on the line for the 757 area code, and it was almost scoreless for the entire first half until 2 goals came in the final 2 minutes of the first half, and that was scored by Coach Werkheiser's Norfolk Academy squad. So let's hear what she had to tell us after the big win right here with Field Hockey with Hatfield from the PLEX.
I'm here with Norfolk Academy field hockey coach Mary Werkheiser. Her squad wins at 5-1 over Cox in a battle of 2 of the state's best, 2 of the country's best. Coach, this was a much anticipated battle, 5-1 to get it done where it was almost scoreless for the first half, but you get 2 goals 18 seconds apart, I believe, from Joji Purdy, your standout junior, who's been great all year long. Penn State commit, and Lizzie Adams, who had a hat trick today, had to be pleased to have the momentum going into halftime.
For sure. They definitely are the girls that start everything off, and they make things happen. It was a good game. We are a very tired team. We went to the Pennsylvania Max Field Hockey Tournament this past weekend and played number 3 and number 20 in the nation. And then we had a game yesterday and then a game today and then another game on Friday. So the girls, today was a hard one, but it's going to take these kind of games to win at the end of the season.
And I think that's what the best programs in the area, state, and country are used to. Your program, as well as Taylor Reinschre's Cox team, is you play 3 games in 3 days or 3 games in 4 days, 4 and 5 days. Tell me about that experience up in Pennsylvania. You beat a couple of really good teams, Kincaid from Texas. You had one with Villa Maria that went to overtime. How much did that kind of prepare you for this matchup today?
It definitely prepared us. We play those games because we want to see the toughest competition, knowing there's not a lot of we haven't had a lot of tough games around this area besides Cox. And so we definitely needed to make that travel to Pennsylvania. And it was a great tournament. We played really well. It was the first time we've came back with 2 W's. And but I think, the girls were tired today. We did not play the way we did out in Pennsylvania, but we played well enough to win, and that's awesome.
You obviously have some exceptional talents led by certainly Joji Purdy, who we touched on, Brooke Betancourt is a Wake Forest signee. But in addition to them, just the agility of your group and just the laser-like focus, fundamentals, I think that shined through in this game where Cox had some chances, but you bent at times, but you never broke.
Right. Now we have whoever is on that field, it's 11 solid players, and they use all 11. And we had a few more turnovers than we usually handle, but they're all able to pick each other up and help each other out. Sure. So that's the name of the game.
A few more for you. Appreciate your time. What was sort of the couple of bullet point keys coming into this matchup? You know how great that program is. You've got a terrific program. You knew this was going to be a nip and tuck battle early on. What were the things you harped on with the girls coming in?
Possession is key. First touch on the ball and moving the ball around. We had to move the ball around because we knew they have a couple of strong players, and if we could move the ball around, keep it from their top players, it would help us.
I imagine you knew what Lizzie Adams was capable of coming in, but to have a hat trick in this matchup today, was this her best performance in terms of obviously the eyeballs on it and being such a great opponent you're playing as well?
Yeah, Lizzie stepped it up this past tournament, and today all of a sudden Lizzie's here to play. She's very exciting and she's a thrilling player. Joji has been pretty strong all season long. But Lizzie, the two of them now, if we can get it going together, there's not going to be many teams to stop us.
As a veteran and one of the best coaches around, how cool is this for the area and just the state to have field hockey take center stage with this type of matchup? I know it's not postseason, your private school or public school, but to have this has got to be pretty cool for everyone, isn't it?
Oh, it's awesome. And I first came here, field hockey was the big sport down here, but it wasn't well attended, and I looked today and I saw all those people over there that I can't recall the last time that's ever happened. And then when we play down at the sports PLEX and there's games and people from all over, it's awesome. Sure. Yeah, it really has accelerated the game.
Lastly, we appreciate your time. Where do you go from here? Because I know there's still some goals and things to check off on the list as far as things you want to accomplish, correct?
Yes. We have a big match coming up on for our homecoming against Richmond Collegiate, and we lost to them in the finals last year. So we want to avenge that game and hopefully see them again in the finals. But right now we've got to concentrate. We've got TCIS games, Catholic on Friday. So one game at a time.
No time to rest for Coach Werkheiser and the Norfolk Academy Bulldogs. Congrats to the winner. We'll see you again soon.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. It was awesome.
So that was Mary Werkheiser of Norfolk Academy doing an outstanding job in her 35th season at the helm, her and the entire staff, along with assistants in Laura Gibson and Catherine McCollum. But you look at this roster, and they were just mighty, mighty good against Cox. The 2 goals, 18 seconds apart that we touched on, that was big in terms of gaining momentum. They didn't let it swing, even though Cox had a goal in the 4th period and had a chance to get things tighter. I don't see this team getting picked off by anybody. I really don't. As long as they bring their A game, nobody else's B-plus game or A game comes close. And if they give you a B-minus game, it's going to take someone playing really, really good to even stay with them there. So I just look at the squad. They're just loaded with talent. You got a goalkeeper in Mac Penko, who's going to Iowa, senior defenseman, and Lily Stockwell committed to Middlebury College. You've got Brooke Betancourt, absolute standout, Wake Forest. And she was, I think, named on the 2nd team on the All-Max Field Hockey in that tournament up there in PA. Kudos to her because they only chose about 10, 15 players for these all first and second teams. First team selection was Joji Purdy, who was just outstanding, the junior forward who's committed to Penn State. And then you have Lizzie Adams, the Columbia commit senior, Penn State commit, and Cooper Cutchins, also a junior. And so they have literally on this team already 6 players committed to play at the next level for college. So outstanding group for them. And that will bring us now to the announcement of our Il Giardino Restaurante. And by the way, upcoming game for Norfolk Academy, Cape Henry on deck. They just beat Catholic on Friday after that win over Cox. Took care of them in rather convincing fashion, 6-0 with a trio of goals from Lizzie Adams. Also got one from Betancourt, Mia Jones, and Anja Spears in that game. But it is now time for the announcement of our Il Giardino Restaurante Chicken Parm Field Hockey Player of the Week. And who better than Lizzie Adams? What a game she had. Not one, but 2 hat tricks in the week as they got it done, 6-0 over Catholic, 5-1 over Cox. You see just the performance she had going to Columbia. Really impressed with her because I think coming in, the 2 names you're watching and circling on your roster sheet, as was I, people asking, who's the standout for Norfolk Academy, who's the standout for Cox, and just a great turnout from the parents and the families for those young ladies last Wednesday. It's outstanding to see, and you have to tip your hat to the likes of Mary Werkheiser and Tedda Roundtree for planning that game, to play that game against each other, to see where they stand as a great measuring stick. But you see it right there on the screen, and a good shout out to our man Dan Trevino supplying that awesome photo from last week's game. You see Lizzie Adams, as she had the 2 hat tricks, getting it done. The Il Giardino Restaurante Chicken Parm Player of the Week. So she will be honored for that, and well-deserved there. And Il Giardino offers veal, seafood, pasta, chicken, vegetarian, and pizza creations that are all taste sensations. All their sauces are made from scratch, and every item is made to order over there. And you add in the lively sounds from the expanded piano bar and lounge, and it's no wonder why Il Giardino is such a popular local spot. To see the complete menu and find out more, including the hours of operation, just go online to ilgiardino.com. That's ILGIARDINO.com. You can give them a call, too, at 757-422-6464. That's 757-422-6464. So a big shout-out to Lizzie Adams, as she's part of a dynamic trio, I think you can say, with Betancourt and Purdy. And by the way, I think there's a very good chance those 2 will get honored for Player of the Week, and they'll be Player of the Year candidates for sure, or teammates, as they have just an outstanding crew over there. And awesome to see they're now ranked number 1 in America. We have some awesome athletic programs in the 757 in various sports. You think of, right now, girls basketball. Darnell Dozier's built a dynasty over there at Princess Anne, where he has more rings than he can, have on his fingers and probably his toes before he's all said and done. You have, you think of the awesome history that Great Bridge and Granby have in wrestling. You think of in basketball, Norcom had a run where they've won, they won 4 straight state titles in a row in boys basketball under Leon Goolsby. In football, there's been, dynastic programs from over the years in the 90s when Hampton High School, the Crabbers with Mike Smith and Ronald Curry leading the way, Phoebus in the early 2000s, Oscar Smith. There's some dominant teams right now as far as winning titles. Phoebus has won back-to-back. Maury looks like the best team perhaps in Hampton Roads, and dare we say the entire state of Virginia. Norfolk Academy to be number 1 in a sport in the nation. That is no small feat and an accomplishment that they should take a lot of pride in, even though I know their main objective and goals, win the TCIS, win the state championship, complete the unfinished business from last year, and maintain that focus and stay on task for those goals, even though the rose petals are being thrown their way and all those accolades that they like, I'm sure, are great to see. They know that they have work to be done as far as getting it all done for them this year to complete their mission and all of their goals. We're going to take a time out. We've got coming up more here on Field Hockey with Hatfield, including, as you see on the screen right there, Princess Anne Sydney Raguini, the JMU commit who scored the game winner against Kellam. She'll talk about it. It's not the field goal, game-winning goal. We'll fix that for you, though. But she'll talk about her performance this past week, and also get you on deck, get you set for what's on deck with the schedule. That'll be scrolling across our screen soon as well. And the latest Hatfield Top 10 Field Hockey rankings. It's all coming your way right here, but we're going to take a quick time out and come back with more. We'll hear from some of the sponsors, including AstroTurf. Don't touch that dial.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
you did not all tune in to see me dance, so I will quit with using the shimmies and the shakes. We want to keep the audience and the viewers. It is Field Hockey with the Hatfield, as you are watching with us on our streaming channel, which is on the Virginia Beach Sports PLEX. Subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, tell all your neighbors, tell all your coworkers, anyone you know, near and far. We always appreciate the support and those tuning in to watch our channel. We're also up on Facebook with the Regional Training Center. You can watch it there. Go back and watch anything you missed. It'll be up on virginiapreps.com too. And we're on still that little thing with the little birdie from time to time. I guess you call it X now. People also know it as Twitter with social media. Watch up there too to get yourself your field hockey fix each and every week with us, folks. The folks at Hometown Sports Productions and the Virginia Beach Sports PLEX. Well, we had Mary Werkheiser on earlier, the head coach of the top-ranked team, not just in Hampton Roads, but in all of Virginia and now the nation, according to Max Preps. And I think Max Field Hockey will probably move them up from 6 to, I would definitely say, in the top 3 or 4, if not number 1, later today when those rankings come out. I know Cox was as high as 15th or 16th, I believe. You have Collegiate out of Richmond, who was very highly regarded and ranked too. We've got our own top 10 for field hockey in Hampton Roads. And I had a couple of snubs this week. There's actually one team that is, unless my records are wrong, 8-0, and they've outscored opponents 56-0. But they play a team that's right at or below 500 today that I think might beat them. And if they beat them, they're in the top 10 without a doubt next week. People will be screaming at me why they're not in it right now. But we catch up with one of the standouts from Virginia Beach, whose team might crack our top 10 later in the show. You got to stay tuned to find out. We're talking about a junior, Sid the Kid, not Crosby, Sydney Raguini of Princess Anne. She scored the game winner in overtime. They needed more than 60 minutes of regulation play with the Cavs and the Knights. Here's what she told us after the thrilling victory with Hatfield. Field hockey with Hatfield.
All right, I'm here with Princess Anne Sydney Raguini, the junior who's committed to JMU and had the game-winning goal in overtime as Princess Anne outlasted Kellam 4-3 in this game. Sydney, how's this feel? Game-winning goal. Have you done this before?
No. Last year we lost, and it was definitely like a defeat, but we just came back better than ever.
And you're regarded as one of the better players in the Beach District. We saw you score, I think, a hat trick last week.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about this game, because you weren't scoring the early goals, but you and Sarah Ellis, who's a Richmond commit, are known as the dynamic players. But your teammates really stepped up around both of you in this game as you were behind early, but you were able to battle back.
Yeah. I think the assists for me are like 10 times much more valuable and than me scoring, because it's a team effort instead of just me just scoring a goal, which I think is more valuable than just me scoring.
Tell me about playing for Coach Don Warner. He's a veteran, had a lot of success. He was at St. Catherine's for 20 plus years. You know about this, writing for the student newspaper and actually writing and following him a little bit. But it's funny, Sydney, because I spoke with him Tuesday on our field hockey podcast, and he talked about, obviously you're a brilliant player, as is Sarah, but it's the whole Prince St. community, collective effort. How much is that just a big thing about always playing for each other, basically, to beat sacrifice, and that's how your team's getting better and better?
Yeah.
Is that a key to this, making the selfless plays, like you said, the assists and things of that nature?
Yeah. It's just a team effort. Yeah.
What did Kellam present you all differently from other teams you played this year? They got some talented players too.
Yeah. Their stick skills are amazing, especially Milena and my best friend, Ellis Cannon. We play club together. She's just fast, but they're both very good players. And also Carly Porter, she plays for Tokoyo, and she's very good and very good defender.
Tokoyo, who do you play with?
I play for Focus with Ellis.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned Ellis being a friend of yours. I know she had a 4-goal game recently. Do you all have like a little friendly, I wouldn't say wager, but friendly battle going to see who can score more goals or have more assists this year? What's that like?
No, it's just we're just having fun.
Yeah. Gotcha. Now you're committed to JMU. Tell everybody what made you choose them, and I understand you're going to major in biology.
Yeah. Coach Morgan and the other coaches, Coach Anna and the new assistant coach, he came from I think South America, I think. But they're just so nice. They're so nice. They're very experienced, just like Coach Dawn. And she was a player at ODU for Beth Anders, and she's just very persistent. And their playing styles is just like mine: fast, skillful, and just go to the ball.
Love it. And Beth Anderson is one of the best ever. Get you out on this last one here, Sydney. You've responded from the loss to First Colonial. This team is now surging at, I think, 4-1 on the year.
Yeah.
Certainly some big games will wait. I know Cox on the schedule, Digital Circle.
Monday.
Coming up. How good can this team be, and what's going to be the key for Princess Anne to be making noise come playoff time next month?
I think it's just working until you're just you can't anymore. Just like as a focus player, I'm a forward, and I just work until I just work and run until I'm just tired, and then I get switched out, and then I just come back in. And I think it's also just a team effort, and just being composed and just not having breaking down during these tough moments. And I think that's how we won this game. Is we didn't break down. We just kept it together. First quarter we got 2 goals, but we backed it up with 4 more. So
it's better to get an overtime win than lose one in the rain. Sydney Raguini gets it done for Princess Anne. Thank you so much. All the best. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Well, great job for Sydney Raguini of Princess Anne, the JMU commit. They've got a couple of D1 talents. Does Don Warner, who came on the show last week. As you missed that episode, it's available on our streaming channel with the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Just go up to the playlist. We have different playlists for our various podcasts on the hash. With Hatfield's the football one, field hockey with Hatfield obviously is the field hockey one, and then you can also go back and watch our 757 Saturday Sports Talk that we bring you every Saturday around 10 a.m. for about an hour and a half to 2 hours with yours truly and the coach, Ed Young. We're actually going to be efforting pretty soon some local athletes that have gone to the college and professional ranks to come on the podcasts with us, so that'll be a neat treat for some of the local fans that caught their games in the past, whether it be for football, field hockey, or other sports here in Hampton Roads. But this Princess Anne team's got some challenges coming up, including today at the Sportsplex. Later on, they'll be taking on Ocean Lakes. They have Washington Liberty coming up. I think it is in the Ring of Honor. They've got Tallwood, Bayside, Salem. So there's still some battles that'll wait for them. And in Region 5A, no time to rest, as you'll see some teams. Cox is still the favorite. Great Bridges has taken a couple of L's, but they move up from Class 4 to Class 5. And First Colonial handed them their only blemish, and they were a winner, as you see on our ticker, 3-0 over Poquoson on Monday, along with a couple of their area winners like Maury over Churchland, Oscar Smith beating Green Run behind a couple of goals from Mackenzie Davis, and Tab continuing its hot streak, blanking York by a score of 5-0. That's very impressive what Wendy Wilson's doing over there with the Tigers. We'll get into that in a little bit here. But for Kellam, it was a tough loss for them. We had on Nicole Morgan a couple weeks back, along with Melina Magnano, who was a Liberty commit on the show. Actually, we had a couple Liberty commits back-to-back with her and Isabel Pardo, the goalkeeper for Cox, who had a tough day having to play Norfolk Academy, but nobody's shut them down, so there's no shame or disappointment that she should hang her head in that regard. But I think Kellam is still going to be a threat out of 5A2. Now, their seed will be interesting. We could see those two teams, PA and Kellam, if I was to project ahead for playoff matchups. And I know, in fact, on this particular Tuesday that we speak to here to begin October, the Virginia High School League has released its first football power ratings. They don't release power ratings for field hockey, unfortunately, but I'm sure a lot of the people around the sport will be projecting ahead what matchups we'll see in the quarterfinals, semifinals. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a PA Kellam rematch in a 4-5 game, because I would think that Cox has the inside track to the number 1 seed despite a couple of blemishes, one of which came up there in New Jersey, one coming to Norfolk Academy. First Colonial, likely going to be the 2 seed. Great Bridge is not a lock for the 3 seed because they still have some tough matchups coming up for them on the out-of-district slate. And by the way, Nansemond River is also in Class 5, but they're in Region 5B with pretty much all your schools from Suffolk as well as Norfolk, where Maury is, and Newport News schools. Warwick is in there now, 5B, as well as Menchville, who could be a dark horse out of 5B. But I would kind of lean with Nansemond River as the favorite. Could be a couple teams lurking like Maury and Menchville to potentially challenge them. We're going to take another timeout. Coming up here with Field Hockey with Hatfield. And you can always send us a question, a comment, a post. We want to get some feedback from all of you out there if you're watching the show live, what you'd like for us to touch on as far as a subject matter. If you got a question, if you have something you think's interesting, a player or team we're not giving enough love to, that we should show them some appreciation, give them their shine, if you will. We're always welcoming for that input from all of you out there. But when we come back here on the show, we will have the latest top 10 for all of you to discuss, dissect, go over around Hampton Roads. And I'll give you a couple of the snubs, the teams that I left out that may be worthy of belonging in that top 10. It's been a busy show already. Again, we're streaming for you on our Virginia Beach Sportsplex YouTube channel at beachsportsplex.com. You can watch it up there as well as on Twitter or X at 757 Sports Talk and our Facebook page with the Regional Training Center, where there's all kinds of games. We mentioned it today, coming up on Thursday. Saturday, go out there early in the morning, enjoy the Ring of Honor. You'll have some concession stands. You'll have beautiful weather. It's already 70 degrees this week. It feels like late summer, early fall for all you out there. And then we've got some playoff games coming up at the training center for all the various Virginia high school league teams for the public schools. And also I think the private schools may have their TCIS finals there. So you'll get a nice little smattering of teams and players and all kinds of action around the 757. And we're not limited to just the 757. Certainly it's our focus, but if there's a field hockey team or storyline or player you want us to touch on or highlight on this show, get involved with us, reach out to us. The email is always open, hatfieldsports@gmail.com for me. You can reach me via Twitter or X at Hatfield Sports, and always just drop me an instant message or direct message, and we'll get you taken care of with all of that. But we're going to take a time out, and you always want to get those fall treats from our friends at Dairy Queen. It's not fast food, it's fan food. Grill and chill with them.
Okay, who here has reached peak fall?
Peak what?
Peak fall!
I am wearing plaid.
And I'm wearing a cardigan.
I guess I am eating snickerdoodle cookie dough.
And I am eating a pumpkin pie blizzard.
The new DQ Fall Blizzard menu has reached peak fall. Pumpkin pie, snickerdoodle cookie dough, and more. They are back!
I just love fall.
Apparently we all do.
Oh, they did it! Peak fall achieved! DQ, happy tastes good.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6766.
right, we're back here with Field Hockey with Hatfield from the PLEX or from someone's living room with the piano in the background. It's like Il Giardino. You got the great piano in the background. It's just so awesome there. And also shout out to a lot of our sponsors you just saw during the commercial break, such as Zoop Eatery, where you can build the perfect box lunch, a customizable and individually packaged meal for your convenience. Choose from any of the wide variety of soups, fresh salads, made-to-order sandwiches, and they're all served with a hunk of bread. Oh, magnifique. And dessert, too. Something for the whole crew when you stop in at Zoop Eatery, which is right down the road from the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach, where we have field hockey for you later today. Princess Anne and Ocean Lakes got some games coming up on Thursday. Again, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel with the Virginia Beach Sportsplex for all of that to stay up to date on what's happening when we go live. When we're streaming games, it can be for field hockey action. It can be for high school football, like we've had Atlantic Shores games the last couple of Fridays. And the last Friday, they had a nice comeback win against Nansemond Suffolk Academy. And then come springtime, we have also more events for you with lacrosse and soccer. So get involved with us. And if you want to get involved with us, you can also drop us a line. Any sponsors, supporters out there that want to get on board with what we have. We have some big plans for all of you out there covering the sports scene around Tidewater and beyond. Just reach out to us, and we'd love to get you on board with our growing team right here with Hometown Sports Productions at the PLEX. All right, time now, as we've done enough babbling, wasting time, for the latest Hatfield Field Hockey Top 10 rankings. And last week, I don't know that we dropped the ball as much as we might have been underselling a team or two, one of which was the Grassfield Grizzlies. I put them in the top 10 last week for the first time on the season, and they were put in at number 9. They got the huge win over Great Bridge, 3-1, and I didn't see coming for the Wildcats I don't want to say a precipitous fall, but they've had a drop here lately in the top 10 as far as you look at what's going on for them. They have dropped a game to Grassfield, also fell to Poquoson, who is technically a Class 2 school, but playing up with Class 3 for field hockey in this specific sport. And the Wildcats, who have won a trio of state titles, they've been a state contender, going through a little bit of growing pains after that 28-0 goal margin. So did they fall out of the top 10 this week? Well, we're going to go 1-10 this week. We've gone 10-1 as far as revealing them to you the last couple of weeks. We want to hear from you, the input, the comments. We want to get your opinion out there, where we're right, where we're wrong, what your top 10 would be, what you think, any upsets, and who's being forgotten about. And I'm going to highlight a team that did not make the top 10 cut that I'm going to feel probably like a dope about later on. But number one, it's without a doubt Norfolk Academy. You saw they have the Il Giardino Chicken Parm Player of the Week in Lizzie Adams. And when she arguably is the third most dangerous player you're worried about, though she's been number one lately, behind Purdy and Betancourt, or Betancourt and Purdy, or however you want to assemble them. They're just loaded with talent over there. And watching them up close and personal live, you get a better appreciation for just how talented these young ladies are and work together. The passing, you heard some of the comments from Coach Werkheiser about possession time being such an important factor. And I think that is one of their keys to success, without a doubt. The way they play and for each other, the sacrifice, the selflessness, and they're now number one in the nation. So I'd be a total fool, a buffoon, if I didn't have them number one in the area, especially if they just beat Cox and did so pretty convincingly, turning what was a close game early into a very comfortable, easy win for them. All right, so Lizzie Adams, the Columbia commit, leading the way for them last week, and she was the player of the week. Who's number 2? I'm not dropping the Falcons from the number 1 spot. They did take a couple L's, did have a draw, in fact, so I'm showing their record now at 7-2-1, because we were thankfully pointed out by some of the great folks out there as far as the updated record for them, that they did have a couple results that were not reported, I don't think, online, the various sources, even the Beach District site having updated it as far as the Cox Falcons go. But looking at their results from up in New Jersey, just to get people caught up on what transpired there, as I have to now use my other computer and talk to the mic from a distance here. They had a 1-1 tie with Torrey Pines of California. Who doesn't like going to Torrey Pines? That's where you play golf, right? That was on Field 1 at 5 p.m. on Friday, September 22nd. And then they also had, and that went to overtime, was a tie. They also fell to North Hunterdon of New Jersey 2-0. But look, this team is still very good. Despite the 5-1 loss to Academy, they're going to bounce back and be right there. Too many weapons with Sophia Birch and Megan Spear, Dartmouth bound, and I think Pardo is a really good goalkeeper. So I'm not panicking or pressing any worry or concern for Cox, and I still think they can go get state title number 25 this year. Very much within their reach and their grasp. All right, what else we got here for the top 10? Number 3 is Gloucester. Joe Dougherty's team did not get, the SI cover jinx or the Madden cover jinx by coming on the show with me. Team's 9-0. Got it done against Menchville. Matchup with St. Catherine's, where Don Warner of Princess Anne, who we also had on the show last week, coincidentally coached once upon a time. And that's next on deck. And they're like 4-2, 5-2, I want to say. They're pretty good. Private school up there. So I feel like Gloucester is going to keep this rolling. And right there in Class 4, they look like the team to beat to me. All right. And by the way, people keeping an eye on teams that can be up there as far as national consideration. Independence, I think, was high in the latest Max Preps top 10. They're a Class 5 school, so that could be a collision course if they come out of that side of the state, the Northern Virginia Richmond part, for the state championship game in November. I think it's November 11th this year at Kellam High School. People want to circle that on the calendar for the state championship games for Class 6 down to Class 3 for public school, Class 6, 5, 4, and 3 there. Number 4 in the top 10, we're going to put First Colonial there. They got a 3-0 shutout of Poquoson. They're outscoring foes 54-6, so the goalkeeping has been sharp. And 4 of those scored on them were by Norfolk Academy in a loss. Ohio State commit and Grace Dixon, Riley Brooks Booth. Looking forward to seeing them up close and personal. I have not watched them live yet this year, so I think they're going to be a real threat once again in the Beach District. And always people look forward to that Cox and First Colonial matchup. It's a game people definitely count on and look forward to, so that will be one that people will be anticipating coming up. Number 5 is Tab. 56 wins in a row now for Wendy Wilson's Tigers. They beat York 5-0 on Monday, and that's a team that beat Poquoson 2-1 earlier in the season. And even though they graduated 14 players from their back-to-back Class 3 title-winning teams, they do have Mika Hilberger and Corrine Lombardo leading the way, valuable components to their success. Cox won a VHSL record 69 games in a row. That's the state record from 1993 to 1996. They got 6 games left before regionals on October 25th, and that includes at Kellam coming up on Monday. So if they get 6 more to take this streak up to 62, we've got a story here. I think it's already a story to win 56 in a row. And to me, they're not getting enough love and attention. So we'll have to probably effort Coach Wilson. That Kellam game is a real litmus test for them, and that's going to test that streak because I don't see anybody else on the docket that I could say knocks them off. Ellis Cannon, who you heard is the best friend of Sydney Raguini of Princess Anne, or one of the best friends, I should say. And you also got Melina Magnano from Kellam. They have goal scorers. So that could be a nice back and forth battle coming up on Monday in Virginia Beach with the Knights and the Tigers of Tab High. Number 6 in the top 10, we're going to put up there Nansemond River. They dropped a couple of spots, lost last year in the state championship to Cox. They did blank Grassfield last Thursday 5-0. So that was an encouraging sign. And encouraging for them in that was that they did it behind a goal and 2 assists from Jordan White, one of their best players. And besides that, they also got 5 different players to score for them. So only blemishes in Norfolk Academy and Gloucester are combined 19-0. So there you have it. The ticker's now giving away the rest of the top 10, including number 7 jumping up there. He didn't get the hex or the curse. Don Warner's Princess Anne group, they're 5-1. Won the 4-3 overtime thriller thanks to Raguini versus Kellam, but they had so many players step up for him. Like he said, the collective PA community all as one. They've got 4 shutouts, and they've outscored their foes 18-3 in wins, with the lone blemish coming to First Colonial 4-1. So they're deserving of the number 7 slot right up there, PA, the Cavaliers. Number 8 is Grassfield at 6-2. Only moved up 1 spot. Would have moved up more because they did a nice job with that win over Great Bridge. But the loss to Nansemond River, they weren't as competitive as you'd like. They are a Class 6 school, so I think now with Kellam dropping down, they are probably the favorite out of Region 6A, unless someone from Richmond up there, that Manchester, Thomasdale, Cosby, was to beat them. And a big one with Gloucester on Friday. Circle that in Chesapeake. I think it's a 3 o'clock start. Then they got Kempsville coming up on Monday, and later in the month, the Grizzlies have Menchville too. So curious to see if they have a real breakout player, standout playmaker, because a little bit like Nansemond River, I think it's kind of a collective, cohesive effort, not 1 or 2 standouts of, say, not many players are at that level of an Adams or a Purdy or a Spear or some of those name players. Your Raguini from PA, your Cannon and Magnano from Kellam. So Grassfield's checking in at number 8. And to round out the top 10, we've got Poquoson and Maury. Now, Maury's one that I'm a little bit wondering about because I think they've got Nansemond River and they can drop out of this fast. I've been kind of giving them the Eastern District only real top team love here. But Poquoson at number 9, their lone losses, First Colonial 3-0, York 2-1, got the huge 2-1 win over Great Bridge. Elizabeth Trant and Isa Goretsky with goals for the Islanders, and Coach Darcy Chiapazzi, who we're efforting getting on the show here soon. She led the team to a 15-5 record and state runner-up finish back in 2021 when she garnered Coach of the Year honors. And I like what the Islanders are doing. The schedule first Colonial, I think that was a good move for them. They're not ducking competition. They're taking on all challengers, which is a great thing to see over there. Got an awesome AD over there too now in Mike Whittington. So big ups to Pocosin and Coach Chiapazzi and the Pocosin Islanders. And number 10 is more at 8-2 because they've got 8 shutouts this year. So when you're 8-2 and your losses include Norfolk Academy and you've got a shutout in every win, it's hard to ignore you. Now, there are 3 teams that people will say are definitively better than Maury, Pocosin, Grassfield, Princess Anne, and I'm not going to dispute it with you out there. And those teams would be the likes of Catholic, who's 7-3 on my honorable mention list because they don't have that real signature win. Got some private school losses, including to Academy recently. I think St. Catherine's got them, and another private school got them as well here recently. Collegiate, who's number 15 in the country, 6-1, or was 15 in the country at the time. Another team is Great Bridge. Now, they did lose to Pocosin, so I can't put Great Bridge ahead of Pocosin, who's 9 on my list, and at 6-2, couple losses, and they were as high as 3 in my rankings. Wildcats got to show me a little more. And they got some tough games coming up. So they have a lot of proving to move up here, and they can prove themselves there. And the one that nobody really talks about, this is the fly in the ointment, just quietly going about their business, and they haven't really had a real test yet, is Woodside. I'm showing if my data is correct. My numbers are right. Let me know if it's wrong. Woodside is 8-0, and they've outscored their opponents 56-0. Now, they got Menchville today on the schedule, as we showed you earlier. And Menchville, they got some talent. Lily Krikorian's a big-time player for them. I don't know if they beat Menchville, but if they beat Menchville, I don't see any way that they fall out of the top 10 that they'll enter come next week. So again, to recap it, top 10, 1 through 10, we got Norfolk Academy 1, Cox 2, Gloucester 3, and we're not 100% certain on that record, 7-2-1. It might be 6-2-1, but we're going with 7-2-1 today. Gloucester 3, First Colonial 4, Tab 5, and then 6 through 10 is Nansemond River, Princess Anne, Grassfield, Pocosin, the Islanders, and Maury, which I'm sure will make my man Daryl very, very happy. Maury's got probably the best football team around. We'll see if their field hockey is up to snuff with some of those better teams. But Norfolk Academy, great week for them. That's going to do it for this edition of the show. As always, we appreciate you tuning in, liking, sharing, subscribe it. Spread the word that we're doing this for you every week on the quest to the championships in early November. That's going to do it, and we'll talk to you again next time from the PLEX or someone's living room. It might be mine, it might be yours. You never know whose it'll be. We might be on the road for one of these shows coming up soon, too, as well. Number 5 now in the book for field hockey with Hatfield. We'll talk to you next time, everyone.